Good morning, everyone. My name is Lori Lytle, and I'll be hosting Mortgage Coaches Training Thursday. So today what I want to talk about is the new FHA MI change. So if you're unaware of it, FHA put out a mortgagee letter, and they are reducing their MI factors. So for the 30-year loans, you can see where it was once 1.35, it's now 0.85. So it's quite a bit of a decrease in MI rates. And what I'm doing is taking this HUD bulletin and I'm posting it into our chat box. So if you want this HUD bulletin, go ahead and click on that, and then you can bookmark it for later. Also in the chat box are links to Edge and Rate Watch, as well as our mobile app. So you can take a look at those links in there, grab those, be able to use those downloading your apps. Also, I want to let you know, for the way we're going to use GoToMeeting is open up the question area. Anytime you have a question as we're going through creating reports, things like that, just go ahead and put it in the question area, and I'll go ahead and address those on the call. So now let's take a look at, we have our changes in mortgage insurance with the different MI factors here. Let's take a look at a report. So what I have done is I just created a report comparing the current MI rate to our new FHA MI rate. So the first one, the current, is showing a 1.35, and then we have a 0.85 for our MI factor on the new MI. So you can see payment streams, it's still showing the declining balance on each, but you'll notice that it'll be slightly less for that new MI. So let's go through and really compare everything. So you can see I'm holding the same loan amount, I'm holding the same interest rate, and also if we go into our more info, you could see that I'm not carrying any fees on here. And the reason for that is I want to actually compare just mortgage insurance. So you can see our upfront amounts are right in here that we added to the loan amount, and then our payment breakdown. So you have the same P&I, but look at that huge change in mortgage insurance. It's over $100 difference. So with that, let's go ahead and check out the other numbers. So they're going to be saving roughly $140 a month with that new MI. Also, over that 60-month period, just again, straight MI, they're saving a little over $8,000. So if you click on that More Info button just to get the details behind it, you can see in that 5-year period how much interest and how much mortgage insurance that they're paying for that loan. So you can see what the difference and how much savings having that new MI amount. So another report I want to bring you up on FHA and MIs is one that Dan Keller had created. So let me go ahead. I'm clicking on it. This is just how a borrower would go ahead and do it. He actually placed a video talking about the FHA changes. And what I'm going to do is share that video with you in the chat box. And an easy way to get the link, if you're not in Edge, in the lower right-hand corner is a share button. You could go ahead and grab the link from there, and then I'm pasting it into the chat box. So you have that option. What Dan is doing is he's showing the difference between the old and the new product MI factors, but he's showing how much more purchase power you'd be able to receive by having that lower MI factor and the lower rates. So he has a great video discussing that, so if you could go ahead and click on that after the call and listen to that, and I'll be able to provide you a little bit more information about FHAs and that MI change. Next I want to show you is a refinance. So say we have a FHA they took out a year ago, we have their current mortgage, and now we have the FHA new MI rate. So with that, you can see my difference is the interest rate. I am holding the loan balance the same, so we'll talk about that when we go into the report. But with that, I'm also not including fees, so we could focus directly on MI. You can see that the payment is less here, and how much they would be saving. So in the monthly cost, they'd be saving $211 because that's not only the MI, it also has a lower interest rate this time opposed to a year ago. Also, the savings over an 84-month period. So you have $14,000 here. And then your interest over MI. So with that, I'm assuming there's going to be quite a few FHA refinances that are coming down the line. And so let me go ahead and let's work on this aspect. I'm just going to compare it with an FHA. If you're learning and want to see a couple other products on this particular one, put it in the question area. I want to see this product, because I can add it to this report just to be able to start getting you familiar with the different types of loan scenarios you could do and how to key in particular products. So if you have a particular product you want to see, go ahead and place it in there. Also, if you have any other kind of questions or different report styles you also want to see later in the call, put it in the question area so I'll be able to go and address those questions that you might have. So let's go ahead and go into Edge and take a look at my refinance report. So I'm going into my Edge account. So it's edge.mortgagecoach.com. And I enter my password. Okay, so now we're at our home screen. So with those on the call, how many, can you raise your hand if this is the first time through Edge? If you go ahead and raise your hand there and let me know. Okay, I don't see any hands raised. Oh, Holly, okay, great. You'll be learning quite a bit on here. So as I'm going through, Holly, if you have any kind of questions, go ahead and stop me, because a lot of times on our Thursday call, we just answer questions, develop reports, but we also have an intro class on Friday that really is the basics of understanding Edge. So if you want more information on that, just go ahead and email us at support and we'll get you that link. So what I have done is I went ahead and prepped my refinance report here. So let's go ahead and bring that up. The last time I was in this report, I was in the last screen here. So that is where the computer is taking me to. So let's go to the front screen. I'm clicking on clients. And you can see I just put FHA refi here. I could list it as marketing and remove all those different borrowers' names and things like that. So just letting you know, you do have the two toggle switches here. And then a friendly name. And I'm just going to put today is my Thursday training. Friendly name field, just to let you know, it's just a reference name. This is referencing, I use this report on my Thursday training. You can put the word purchase, refi, things like that. When you're working on open house flyer, it's great to get in the habit of putting in the street address there, because there is a copy function. So you could copy a report and not have to enter the realtor's information again. Friendly name field is going to allow you to, know which report to copy from. And now I'm spelling Thursday right. So, moving on, taking a look in the goal screen. I didn't mark anything here. I'm not doing a purchase, which you have to mark when you're doing a purchase transaction, but you can fill out information here depending on your conversation with the borrower. I'm just preparing a marketing report. I'm moving on. I placed in the property value as of today, so roughly this is $350. Now let's take a look at my current mortgage. So I took out the loan. My first payment was last January. I had original loan amount of $325 and 4.125 and $360. So here's my remaining balance, and here's my P&I payment. So to sidestep a little bit, let me talk about this screen. As you're doing refis, there's a couple questions usually people ask through our support desk. So a couple items. If you put this data in, you'll see that we do calculate a remaining balance based on that criteria. Sometimes they've either paid a little extra toward principal, so this balance might not be correct, which is fine. You figure out, put in the correct information, loan amount, rate, and term, to get that P&I payment. And if they have paid down and their remaining balance might be $310, that's okay. You could go ahead and override that, and you'll see it doesn't change the payment. So that is fine. Just as soon as you put in the data, get that P&I payment you're looking for, then you can always override that balance. Let me go ahead and put in the correct balance back in there, $360, and now I have my correct balance. I also want to point out this is what we use for our cash to close. So when we're calculating a cash to close, this is the figure that we use as our starting point. So I want to now point out two fields. We have our remaining balance that we use for our calculation routine for our current mortgage. And then if you move back a screen, we have a current total payoff amount. And a lot of times people want the payoff amount that might be in place a month or two later down the road when the loan is being closed. And that's fine. That's why we developed this field. You can key in that total current payoff amount, and then if you do, then this is what the system will calculate the cash to close. So that between those two fields, we get a lot of questions. My cash to close isn't calculating properly, and what happens? They have a figure in here instead of, and therefore it's not using that. And I hope that makes sense. Just letting you know, if you're having an issue with cash to close on a refi, most likely if you have placed the data in this field, that's what we use as our for cash to close calculation. So I hope you guys got that. Didn't confuse you a little bit. Also, other times you know the payment, but you might not know the original balance, or the rate might, they're not quite sure. That's fine. What you're going to have to do is play around with it because you don't have all that data. That's fine. Put in what you know. So if you know that the payment might be around $1,500, not $1,575, you can either play with the loan amount to get that payment. Whoops, went the other way. Or you could play with the interest rate, so to work on the payment. So you can see how that P&I payment does change, so you can look at it and be able to see and try to earmark the payment that the client's telling you by changing some of the various items in here. So I want to be able to point that out to you. Does anyone have any questions on keying in the data for the refinance? If you do, either raise your hand or place it in the chat box and we'll go through it a little further. Okay, so we have our data now for our current mortgage, and then I went ahead and placed in our monthly cost. And what I did last year, our MI factor was 1.35. I calculated MI on balance, and I'm keeping MI for the life of the loan. Right now, I'm leaving hazard and taxes empty, again, just to focus on mortgage insurance, to be able to see the difference. So now we're going to move on. I'm just doing a market report, so I'm bypassing the affordability section and going directly to my products. So now with my products, I just went ahead and put a title, FHA, new MI rate. And then coming through, I have my data here. You could do a copy from the current mortgage, which will carry all the current mortgage over. But when you do that, always remember to mark it as a refinance. Otherwise, it will treat it as a current mortgage, just like the current mortgage in your assumptions. So I wanted to point out that it is a quick way just to use the copy from, gather the monthly cost, bring it over, but you make sure you mark it as a refi. Refi will change the red fields over on this side, going from purchase language to refi language. So when I did my copy over. It did carry in that base loan amount that I had in my assumptions, and that's what I'm working with. I have my interest rate that I went ahead and placed in here. Now let's go ahead and talk about the upfront MI. So I placed in my 1.75 in here, and it will calculate based on the base loan amount. And what happens a lot of times, you do have the MIP refund. So there's a couple ways to do it. What I had done is I showed my refund as a contribution. I'm also not adding my MI to the loan amount. You can also, if you want to add it to loan amount, instead of putting a dollar figure here, you can just put in that difference of MI versus the refund. And with that, you'll be able to just do that and be able to put it for the lifetime loan. So let me just show you really quick what I'm going to do. 581 point. And there's a couple other items I'm also going to show you regarding the refund. So just one moment. So we have 5581.15 minus. Okay. So instead of putting the 1.75, I'm putting the difference, which is 1191.15. And I'm going to add that to loan amount. Whoops, it didn't calculate out. So let's just go ahead and place that back in here, 1191.15. There we go. So you can do it this way. We might have a bug here, so I'll double check this later and see what we could do. But you can do it this way, where you could show a contribution, or you could show a contribution in line item to offset that upfront MI amount, or as other people do, lower the loan amount by that refund amount, and then when you add that 1.75, you add it to the loan amount, and then it will go ahead and bump that loan amount up. So there's a couple ways you could do it. I hope I was clear enough, and if not, please ask questions. So So here it is. We're balancing out the difference between the full MI. We have our contribution plus the upfront MI. Next, I reduce the MI factor to 0.85. I still have it calculated on the MI and having it for the life of the loan. So now let's take a look at the report and see the difference here. So in it, let's go ahead and clear this out. You can see I didn't add that upfront MI, so the loan amount is still the same, and you have those difference in interest rates. Going into the more info, you have your closing costs, and you can see how I have my contribution right here, and then the difference in the upfront MI. So you have that information all within your report. Also, I don't have fees, and in the short-term area, we have that $18,000 showing that you're saving over that current mortgage. If we go into that more info, you can see how the interest in MI, the difference between those two, and then you also have the offset of the upfront MI. So you have all these figures in here to be able to see what that savings is like, and that's for over an 84-month period. As you start adding fees, what I wanted to point out is when you add the fees, you might want to find out where that break-even point is. So let me go into my Edge account. Let's go into the product and just go ahead and throw in a few fees just so I could show you another option of working with your client. So let's go ahead and put in 15 days prepaid interest. I'm going into my closing cost details, and I'm just going to pick a template that I have in here. I just have a few fees in here that I've added. Let's go ahead and remove this contribution since I have it on the outside and apply to loan. And we could talk a little bit more about fee templates. If you would like me to show you how to develop a fee template, go ahead and raise your hand. Give me an idea of some of the items I want to show you. So what I'm going to do now is I've added fees. And you can see my cash close increased. If I go into my more info, just to show you, I have my closing costs, my fee details, all the line item fees. And now you notice my savings has dropped a little bit. So here now what we're doing is we have our interest and mortgage insurance, and then we also have the closing points. You know, that we did have a reduction before. It got eaten away because of the that contribution, so for the fees. So those are the difference, but what I want to do is when you point out 84 months, and that's how much savings, let's go back to Edge and let me show you something. When you go into the analysis screen, in the analysis screen, if you look at the lower left-hand corner here, that is an area where you can change the number. I currently have a 7-year mark. Let's place it at 5 years. So once I've placed it, you can see how their savings has been reduced. It's now at 39. Let's see what happens at 2 years. So at 2 years, let's take a look at the report, because at this point in time, the report's telling me that it's not a good time. The savings over 24 months, even though they're saving monthly, they're still winning long over the short-term area. At 24 months, they haven't recouped the cost of refinancing. So that's an area where you'd be able to show the borrower where is that break-even point. So let's go back into Edge and let's take a look. So I went ahead and put 24 months. Let's put in 36. So it's still a little bit. Let's put 45, and it's flipped over. So you'd be able to use that short-term area to be able to talk to your clients. How long are they going to stay in the house? If it's not going to be for, let's advance, I'm going to advance my screen because I made a change here. And when I advance my screen, that's when the data saved, and that's when it's going to change on the report. So it's going to change shortly, but this is a conversation you can have with the borrower to show them where that break-even point is on the report once you've added the fees to the loan and be able to see that. So I wanted to point that out to you. We also have another tool in here to find that break-even point to really be able to show the borrower how they'd be able to, if they're staying in the home, definitely over 5 years, good idea to refinance. You know, if it's less than 30 months, you know, that they plan on leaving, maybe not refinance. So that's how you can use those different short-term and long-term numbers here. You could show it for the short term. You'll be able to show a break-even point, but this is where you hold your conversation with the borrower. How long do you plan to stay in your home? When do you plan to sell? You could change these scenarios just on the whim by that conversation and work with Edge Live. So let me show you a little bit about that. So we're going to take the report here. Let's take the link out. I'm right-clicking and I'm copying. I'm going to press OK, and let me open up a new tab. I'm pasting the link. You can see how I paste that link within my browser, and I'm pulling up the report. Any time a client pulls up the report, they're going to get that disclosure language. So as soon as they click I understand, they get to go into that report. So let me go ahead and put this side by side so you'll be able to see Edge Live. Whoops, is it the wrong one? There we go. Okay. So this is, I want to put it side by side because I really want you to understand the difference when you're holding the conversation and how you can use Edge Live. And even if I pulled up my mobile, the mobile's going to be doing the exact same push in the Edge Live. So what I'm going to do is on the right-hand side, I'm clearing all my highlights. You'll see at the very bottom middle, there's a clear all button. That clears out highlights. So when you're talking to the borrower and you want to be able to show them the difference in interest rates, as you highlight and you're talking to the client, you can see how it highlights on the client's report. Want to talk about that savings over 45 months, really explain it to them. You could go ahead and click on that More Info button. Tell them that it's the interest and MI that's been accrued over that 40-month period. Add it in your fees, and that's what we have our net savings based upon, the comparison. So now once you start diving into the conversation with your borrower, they're saying, well, we plan to stay in our house. We're not thinking about leaving until about 6 years. So with that, you can say, okay, not a problem. Let's go into Edge. Let's put this short-term savings at 6 years. So let's go ahead and make that change. So let's go ahead and go back into Edge. And let's go ahead and change that number. So once we've come into short term, we're changing it from 45 to 72. Always advance your screen, left or right, because that will trigger the save. So while I'm doing that, on the left-hand side, watch the 45 months. So let's go ahead and click on that and bring it up. See how it changed it on my report, and it will change on the client's report as well. So it just changed. So you'll be able to have that conversation, and you can make any kind of changes and discuss it with them. So that is Edge Live, and it's great for you to either have a buddy in the office, send them a link, talk about the report, have a friend, a spouse, a parent, give them the link to the report. It's always quick to get a link by just clicking on that share, copy, paste it, and you could send it to them and walk through Edge Live and discussing these areas with them. You see I'm clicking on the left-hand side, that's the borrower's copy, and it will not click. And all I'm doing for highlighting is highlighting on my copy, the one with the clear all. Over the field, I highlight it and I left click. And that's what is highlighting on the form, which you can highlight before you send the report to the client. And then when you're working with Edge Live, that can drive your conversations, the highlighting, as well as clicking on those More Info buttons. So be able to really, between the video that you can add with your message and then actually being on the phone with your client with Edge Live and understanding the products is really beneficial. So now say you were talking to your client and you want to add another product. So say they just want to check out a conventional. They qualify for a conventional now. So let me just open up my screen a tad. Let's go into Edge, and I'm going into products. Let's go into my FHA. I'm just going to roll through the screen so you can see everything I have in here. And then I'm going to start on a new product. So let's just say conventional fixed. What I'm going to do is show you a function that helps you get through creating reports. It's our Copy From feature. And if you click on Copy From, I could copy from my current mortgage, or I can copy from my FHA with new MI rates. What I'm going to do is copy from my FHA with new MI rates and press OK. And you can see how all my data copied over. It came over as VA FHA. I'm doing a conventional, so I need to modify that and say no. I'm going to bump up my interest rate to a 4.125, and all the other information can stay the same. Advancing to the next screen, because we marked no for FHA, our information here of our upfront MI has been removed, and it's no longer on that loan. You'll see all the fees that carried over here. And then let's go into our monthly cost. And what you would want to do is modify this area. We're not going to have calculate MI on balance because that has the declining balance for FHA. And I'm removing our 360. At this point, you could go ahead and open up the percentage and change your MI factor for whatever it may be for that conventional product. I can add another product if I choose to by clicking on that green button, and it will go ahead and bring me up the screens, and I can develop even another product, up to 4 products on one report. So once I advance after my products, it just carries me to that analysis screen. So let's pop this down back to 60 months, and let's take a look at our report. Whoops, before we take a look at the report, let me show you what I've done so you can see our report. So advancing our screen. When you come to our presentation, there's a couple ways. Either you can advance the screen, or if I hover my mouse over presentation, you'll see I have 2 jump out windows. If I click on select report, it will take me to this presentation screen. What I want to point out is in the lower middle, you can see that I have all my products laid out, and they're all marked with check boxes. My conventional is not, because I had put on a blank product and I didn't want to show you at the time that that was on my screen. So let me show you real quick how this can work, because this is really great to have extra products available already that you haven't shown. You can see on the left-hand side we only have the current and the FHA. Now let's go ahead and show the conventional product. As soon as I mark conventional and I advance my screen, because that saved it, my report is going to update with that second product. So I'm going to go ahead and see how the borrower's copy already got updated with the conventional fixed as well as mine. So this way you'll be able to see how you could just build the report and you're talking to the borrower. Possibly you're more familiar with ARM loans, and it sounds really good to be able to put an ARM loan on this loan scenario to show them. You can always have it prepped and then pull it out when you're having that conversation. So you can always add products to the report as you're speaking, or already have them there and just have them display. So again, Edge is live and interactive, so any changes you make in Edge will appear on the report. So does anyone have any questions on Edge Live before we move on? If you have any questions, let's go ahead and address those now if you like. So it sounds like everyone got those. And as we're going along our way, if you have any questions on Edge Live, go ahead and just let us put it in the question area. So let's open this back up. Excuse me, everyone. Sorry about that. Okay, so now I'm in the report. Let's go ahead and close some of these out to clean up the screen. Leave this page. Let you know, this is Dan Keller's report, and I viewed it as a link like I was a borrower. When the borrower is looking at your link and they leave the web page, it's going to ask them, stay on this page or leave this page. But once you receive this, that triggers the email alert. So if you're ever wondering how that gets triggered, it's through them closing the window, and as soon as they do, they the email alert is sent. And this is what an email alert is, looks like. It will tell who the borrower's name is, how long they viewed the report, and if you want to click on and view the report, we provide that through a link here. If you add a phone number on your report, it will have the borrower's phone number as well. But at this point in time with your email alert, you know it's time to reach out to the client and give them a call. So anytime they close out, like I just did with Dan's report, that triggered an email alert going to Dan, showing him that I reviewed the report, not that I personally, someone has, and for what period of time. Okay, so now that we reviewed that information, I'm going to ask a couple questions, see where you guys want to go. I can show you how to create an open house flyer. I can focus on fee and product templates if that's what you would like. If you could put in the question area items you want to see, otherwise I'll just take control and go with an open house flyer. But if there's something specific that you want to see, go ahead and place it in the question area. And you guys are all complacent that you're just listening to what I have to say. Okay, let's go and work on an open house flyer. So what the open house flyer will do is provide you financial options. Let's just pull one up. It will just provide financial options for that realtor that they can use with the borrower. So here's a look at one of our open house flyers. What you can do is you'll have your branding in the lower left-hand corner and the realtor's branding in the right. And if you haven't looked at this on the iPad, let's go ahead and bring up the iPad. Just for a moment, and I'll show you how you can work with this. And I don't see, just one more time. Nope. Okay, my reflector won't go up. If any of you have the iPad open and want to look at the link, the mobile device, I'm placing the link of this open house flyer in the chat box. You'll be able to click on that and you'll be able to experience Edge Live with me. Just one moment. Let me. Apologize for that delay. I was just trying to get my mobile device up and running, and the program that I used isn't responding right now, so we'll just have to do everything with the desktop. So with Open House Flyer, upper left-hand corner, we do have an image of the home. You have asking price. This field here, asking price, is a field you can create within Edge. I'll show you where. You can put sales price. Whatever you put here will be to the left of the dollar amount. Open floor plan, that's another item that you would be able to customize. Those are fields. So I'll show you when we go into Open House how you'll be able to do these items. You also have the property features to the right. And then what this Open House Flyer does is provide the financial options. So depending on the area that you're creating this Open House Flyer for, you could provide those type of loan products. So I have an FHA conventional and a VA down. If you're doing jumbo loans, you could show an ARM product, fixed. You could just do all the different types of comparisons. So with that, let's go ahead and show you how to create this report, how to upload that image as well as the logo and the image of the home. Going into Edge, let's start at the beginning. Okay, so in the lower area here is our partner area. To start a new Open House Flyer, you would just click on New Partner. New client will go ahead and start total cost analysis or rent versus own. But how I told you earlier about that friendly name field, with that friendly name field will come in handy when you do a copy. So let's do a copy on the one I had done with Liz. If I do a view all, I can put Liz's name in here. I know what my realtor is, and I do a search. When I do that, you can see how all my records come up for that realtor. And because I put in the street address, I know which report that will be. So let me go ahead and close out. I want to show you another view of the copy. If I go into View All, this time I'm not going to key in any data here for my search, and it's going to pull up all my realtors. So if I click on that arrow, you can see all the different reports that have been created for that particular realtor. And again, the friendly name field is what will identify it besides that date and time. So you can see on my Ron realtor, I only have a date and time. I really don't know what property that report is. So that's how important it is to be able to use that friendly name field. And what I want to do is go ahead and do a copy. So if I click on my report, you'll see that we have Add Analysis. What this will do is copy all the realtor's information and gives you a blank report to work from. So you key in all the property information, loan products, things like that. Copy Analysis will copy all the product information for you. So say I have another property. This particular report has a FHA conventional and VA. I want to add a similar open house flyer, same products, but I want to go ahead and do it on a different property. So I want to copy Analysis. I can copy into my current partner, Liz, or I could do a new partner. Maybe I like those products, but I want to show it with a different realtor. So you do have the option to do it that way, and click on New Partner, and that will go ahead and start you fresh with that realtor information. So I'm going to keep it on Current Partner and press OK. And you see how it went ahead and copied all Liz's information over. It copied all my products over. And in my contacts, it has Liz's information as well as logo and image. So let's go through the report and talk about how to create that open house flyer and show you the fields that did copy over. So I have all Liz's information here, advancing my screen. So it did copy over. If I wanted to change products, it did copy over my property. Otherwise, I would just go in and change the property real quick. And I'm still in Lake Forest that I'm going to show these products with. But this time, I'm going to have to modify this information. So a lot of times, I wanted to show you this so you can see all the information that carries over. If you started with copying Add Analysis, all this information would have been empty and it would have been clean going through. So I want to point that out. Let's say this house is 575, a little less in square footage. It only has 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths still, and I'm going to remove more features. That's where you could go ahead and add your different items. If you have a single family home, all the different areas here. You'll notice too at the very base, I went ahead and have custom fields. So you have different custom areas that you can add additional features besides those that are above. Once I press OK, I'm advancing my screen. This is where you upload your image. So if I click on Browse, you could go ahead and find it on the desktop and upload your image. And you'll see that there's 3 tabs. I want to explain these. We do have 2 report styles for each product. So besides creating an open house flyer, you can also create a seller buy down with this report. And a seller buy down is a way you can work with the realtor and show the seller about buying down the rate versus lowering the house price and how much they could save by just buying down that rate. So with rates a little low, it's not as popular lately, but we do have that style report. And when you're sending both an open house flyer and a seller buy down to the client, you might want to put on a second image so they both don't have that same picture. So that's why we have the different tabs for you here. So have that in there, advance our screen, and then you just develop your products. I have an FHA product here with all my fees, my upfront MI. I'm going to go ahead and change that to 0.85, prepping for next week. And before I forget, everyone, for the defaults, if you have FHA defaults, We will be updating those factors over the weekend. So the 1.35, when you come in Monday, we'll have 0.85. The way we're doing our testing is that FHA is in the title, just like of your product template, and Calc MI on balance is marked. And this is important because if it's not marked, your product template is set up incorrectly. So this is a trigger for FHA. So I want to let you know we are going to make those updates over the weekend. If you have any questions, you can email support on those updates. Now we have our conventional product. Same thing. You just key in that information, going through it. On this, what I missed, a new one is features. $575, my house price changed. So let's go into my products. Let's place in the new house payment. So it went ahead and calculated the new down payment for me. My rate's the same. I had just created this one earlier. My updates of my upfront MI went ahead and carried over. And then all my factors here. Now let's go ahead and update this one as well with the new loan amount. Nothing's changing, but you would modify it if it does. Let's update all these. My VA product now. And this is an empty product. I'll just update it though. Okay, so to show you, let's make sure product number 4, it's all empty. So as you're moving through, you have your analysis screen, but then you fill in all your information about your contact. We did a copy, but if it's your first time through, you would just fill in your information, upload the image of the realtor as well as their logo. And sometimes I just want to point out, the image that you might take off the web page might stretch, and if it does, it just needs resizing. So either if you have a tool, paint.net is what we use, you go ahead and resize that image, or email us at support and we can go ahead and assist you with that process and help you resize it. So as we move on, I have my 3 products. My 4th product is just an empty one, so I'm leaving it unmarked so it won't display on my report. This is where you key in those custom items I was talking to you about on the report. So presentation title, open floor plan, you could place anything in this area describing that home. Asking price, this is where you could change it if you want to say selling price. And notes section, I want to point out the notes section because this is more for compliance notes. Estimated taxes and insurance are included on your payment. You can also add any additional information, a little bit of area, so additional. I'm going to place that on there so you can see where this is going to display on the report. So once you go through, you select the image that you want to show on the report, and you're done. So place your quote date. I see a lot of people coming through support desk forgetting to put that date. It's very important you do that so you know when those rates were quoted. Once we open it up, we'll be able to check out a report. You can see the reduction in the loan amount, and it's just that easy to use a copy and be able to create that additional open house presentation for your realtor. You'll see selling price, how I made the modification, how it reflects here on the report, and then again that open floor plan that we talked about is another custom field that you can key in. Below our financial options for those 3 products, you'll see our payment notes, as well as where you can add that additional information. So there's a little space there for you to use. So I want to be able to point out that. So once you have your report ready for your realtor, you want to put a video on it. So to do that, if you generate link, this is where you would copy and place that link in your email to the realtor. And now if you click on Add Audio or Video, it's going to display your report just like a preview. But in the lower right-hand corner, you have a record message. And if you click on that, it's going to ask you to loudly use the camera. Hi, everyone. My name is Laurie. You can see through here, this is where you want to be able to put your message. It's very important because this is your communication with your realtor. So if you haven't met your realtor before, this is a good way to outreach show them the video, be able to show them what you can provide your client, because if you're providing your realtor the open house flyer with the message, you're also going to be doing that with your borrower. So I've had a couple people where they actually work real closely with the realtor, and they're in the office at the same time, and they both do the video together. So there's a couple different ways you can do this, but if you're working with a new realtor, it is a good idea. Go ahead and press record, place a message on there, give them a little bit of background about yourself, how you want to do business, and how you can help them. I mean, this is a great financial report, especially when you're working with Edge Live. You'd really be able to reach out to the client, and you're making yourself stand out more than just the standard loan officer who does the fee, worksheets, and the Excel. So this is a lot more interactive with the borrower, a lot more personal. So you have that where you went ahead and placed that message on the report. Now, then I got 10 minutes. Let me show you a quick way. So if you want to send a total cost analysis to your realtor, you could do that with the same products and create a total cost analysis. So let me show you really quick how you could do that. And after this, we'll be wrapping up. So think of other questions you might have that you want me to address, and I'll go ahead and address them on the call. So once you're in your product, you'll see at the end of the product, the 3 screens, you have a saved template. If I click on that, I'm removing this, and I'm just putting Open House Flyer 1. That's my first product. It saved the template. So now let's move on to product 2. Let's save that as a template. Excuse me. Open House Flyer 2. Press OK. So now that's been saved as a template. And let's do the last with the VA, and we'll save our VA template. And so I'm just doing Open House Flyer 3. You could put anything in there. It's just a quick identifier for me. This is my 3rd product on my Open House Flyer. Now let's go home. So now I'm out of the report, and I'm going to click on New Client. You could put, I'm just putting finance options. And I'm jumping over the products, so just to be able to show you how this works. So this was my FHA product. And if you go into your drop-down, first I want to put in the loan amount. I think I had it as 3, I don't remember. Let's check it out. $564, $585. Okay. So once you have the loan amount placed in here, let's go ahead and grab the template. So you'll see I have many templates already created, but I want to find my Open House Flyer one. Whoops, too far. I'm clicking on Open House Flyer 1. You'll see my rate carried over, my down payment. I guess this was a conventional product. My FHA, I have 5% down. Okay, I have that. I have all my fees placed in, and my other conventional product isn't working. Add another product. I'll just say Open House Flyer 2. Put in the loan amount, $564.85. Use my template. Go down to the bottom because that's where it's saved. Open House Flyer 2. All that information carried over. And now placing that VA product. Add another product. $564.585. Sorry, guys, I don't remember that all the time. Okay, Open House Flyer 3. And it'll populate all that information over, as well as the fees and the monthly cost. So that's a quick way where you would be able to use those templates to create reports, different style reports, taking an Open House Flyer, making a total cost analysis, and vice versa. I have it marked. Let's go ahead and put that as a purchase. Go into my goals, mark it as a purchase. Oops. Advance the screen. It's going to remove that current mortgage now. So that's how you'd be able to have a total cost analysis to deliver with an Open House Flyer. So this, you could be able to show them this is what the borrower received. You would go ahead, place a video on this as well, and then provide both links to the open house presentation as well as a total cost analysis. So you would have both of those to be able to provide to your client. Anyone have any questions on that? How you'd be able to use those templates and be able to create a total cost analysis from an open house? And you could do the opposite. If you start with a total cost, you could save those templates and be able to provide that and create the open house flyer as well. So now what happens if I want to remove those templates over time? Let's go into our settings. And into our settings, you have your fee templates. So you can see that I have the fee templates here listed, and in my product templates, let's go ahead and take a look at those open house flyers. You can see how I have them here. If I want to remove them, I click them here and press delete. And that's how you can remove your product template. So if you ever wanted to clean things up, anyone who is on an enterprise account and has product templates created, you won't see those templates in your settings. Those are created at the corporate level and will not populate down into your personal settings, but you can always build your own fee templates based on what they provided. If you save them as a save template and modify it, they can always be the fee templates. They could go ahead and be here. To show you real quick how to create a fee template, you can use lump sums when you're in there, but this is the closing cost details. All you have to do is press new, label your fee. I'm just going to say fees, and I'm placing today's date so you know 22, when it was created. If you originate in multiple states, you could go ahead and create fee templates based on on the different states. So once I press OK, I'm showing you the long way, and then I'll show you the shortcut. So you start out with your fee templates, and it's completely empty. You have your two green buttons, Add Fee, Add Custom Fee. So I'm clicking on Add Fee a couple times, and I'm going to show you how to put in an APR and a non-APR fee. So if I use my drop-down and I type P for processing, I'm going to select my processing and then put in $4.95 and mark it as an APR item. It's just that simple. So now let's do a non-APR. I'll do an appraisal fee of $4.75 and not mark it as APR. So that's a really quick way of doing it. Another is a custom fee. So if you don't see your fee description, that's okay. You could go ahead and add a description. So I'm going to say custom fee 15. Haven't gotten used to changing the year yet. So you can create a custom fee, and then it will now be in your drop-down at the very end. You can place in the dollar amount, and if it was an APR, you could go ahead and have marked it in when you created that fee, or you can always mark it here. So that's how you can create the basic fee. So in contributions, I'll show you how when we go into the fees, I'll show you how to do that. But once you create, I wanted to point out, once you create one template, it's so easy to create the others because of the Save As button at the very bottom left. That is your copy. So now I want to say fees 2, 1-22-15. And now, or maybe this was an FHA product, or whatever. And you can just add fees and make them different than what the other one is, but it's rather quick and be able to do it once you have it started. For those of you who are on enterprise accounts, let me show you how you could take their template and be able to customize it for your office, for yourself. So if I go, let me go home. Let me go into my finance options. We'll work with that one. I'm going to go into my first product, and you see how I just jumped into my report, and as you get comfortable with the screen, you'll see all the jump outs, and you can just move rather quickly this way opposed to just using left and right. So I'm advancing to our closing cost fees, and we're going into the closing cost details. If you used states in your testing, you could go ahead and select the state. But you can see how all the fee templates are listed here. So you'll be able to pick from them. And if you're on an enterprise account, most likely you'll see the templates that they've created. So I'm selecting my template I just built, and you'll see that I have my escrow reserves right here listed at the base. That's because they're in my other screen. I'll show you in a moment, but let's just focus on fees. So with that, this is the template maybe corporate gave you, but your branch might have an additional fee, or you're only charging $450 for processing, where another branch might charge something different. So once you've made your adjustments to that template that you brought down, you'll see at the bottom right there's Save as Template. And with that, you could start building your own templates based on corporate. So with that, you have templates, and I'm just going to put in fees. And you don't have to put in a date. I just do that so I could see, and you could see what templates I've created that I created today. So you can see I put fee 3 and I put 122 there in my drop down. Now if I apply to loan, I've applied that fee template. You can also start your fee templates from this screen, and if they're all empty, always press Save as Template, and again, that's starting your template from this area opposed to settings. Now let me show you how the monthly costs link with the closing cost details. So with that, I have 2 months reserved, 4 months taxes, and I'm collecting 12 months premium. So when you fill in this information here, then it will trigger the closing cost details to put in those line items for your premium and your reserves and graze out that area. So with that, if you wanted to modify it, you would need to go to the monthly cost screen, modify either the number of months or the factor that it's using for calculation. But say I removed with the trash can my insurance premium from that list and applied it to the loan. When I advance to my monthly cost, you'll now see that my 12 months premium is unmarked. So I would just want to be able to point that out so you could see the different interactions between the monthly costs and the fee screens, and how we place those reserves within the closing cost details. Okay. With that, everyone, I'm going to be wrapping it up. I want to show you a couple other items in the help. I want to point out some of the scripting that we have available for you. And I'm also going to stay on the line, so if you have any kind of questions that you want me to ask or answer, I'll be here, and you can go ahead and ask away. But here's our support center, and I just clicked on the help button through Edge to get here. So with it, just, we have recommended playlists and scripts all in this area here. Here, featured walkthroughs, how to create a total cost analysis from beginning to end. Yes, Cindy, I'll also point out beginning to end. Cindy had a question if our recordings available, and it is, and I'll show you where those are through the knowledge base. So with that, we have featured walkthroughs, so you can create that open house flyer from beginning to end, and we'll walk you through that process. If you are not familiar with how to read the TCA, great video tutorial, get you familiar with that. Reinvestment strategy. We didn't really talk about the reinvestment strategy screen today. Great video to be able to learn how to reinvest your MI when it drops off, lump sum payments, and accumulating payoff for the remaining balance. So a lot of items there. What now I want to point out is 2 items at the very top. We have access our coaching call archive, as well as access to monthly calendar of events. With the calendar of events, you'll be able to see all the coaching calls that we're having, the topics. Here, if you have anyone who is beginner to Edge, great Friday class to be able to show you how to dive in and create that report. And I want to now take you to our coaching call archive. So this call is recorded. Last week's Thursday training call, it's posted right here. And I talked about refinancing, and I really focused on ARM. So if you're doing ARM products, you might want to take a look at that Thursday training call. We also post all our sales, our Tuesday coaching calls. We go ahead and post here as well. Our beginner class on Friday is posted right above the coaching calls. What I wanted to point out is Josh Meadows' call. If you click on that particular coaching call, just one moment, it's great. He really talks about how he has worked with Edge and uses it on every file, every loan now. And he goes through the process and tells you why he is doing it and why he wasn't doing it. So it's actually quite interesting to hear it. And a lot of times it's just habits. I mean, if you've been in the industry for a while, it's hard to change the way you've worked. But this is a great habit to change. So here also with the Josh Metal call, we have some homework. We have sales training videos for you to access, advanced training, some scripting from Todd Duncan, and some quick hits and PDF scripting right here. So I'm clicking on that. And this just provides you some direction. Oh, my PDF isn't loading. But you'll be able to click on that, and it's broken down, and you'll be able to use that scripting for your emails as well as how to talk to the client. So I wanted to point out Josh's call because it is a good tool to be able to provide you in Learning Edge and how to present it. So with that, everyone, I am going to close today's call. If you have any questions, I am going to be around for a few minutes, and I can answer those for you. So thank you very much for attending. If there's a topic you would like to hear and want me to show on our Thursday trainings, please email us at support or let us know at the beginning of the training session. Hey, this week I have this report. I wasn't quite sure how to work on this product. Let us know. We're here to help you, let you understand and learn Edge. So let us know what you need to learn. We'll talk to you later, everyone. Have a good day. Okay, I have no questions, so I'm going to go ahead and end this call. Enjoy your day, everyone.